Hello everybody, welcome back to the Canuck Motovlogs channel. Today we're going to do a quick review of my 2003 Honda Shadow Spirit. Now this is the 750 model. They also have an 1100, but I opted for the 750. So basically what I'm going to do is explain to you why I bought this bike, what I like about it, and the few things that I don't. So we're going to start with why I bought this bike. When I was searching for my first cruiser, I started on a sport bike. I was looking for something under 900 cc's for insurance reasons, and something that sat a little bit lower with a good center of gravity and forward controls, because I like forward controls. Because the reason I went for my sport bike, the Ninja 250, was because I just could not stand having my legs under me or behind me. I just couldn't do it. I wanted something with as far out as I could, and I found it. My other choice was the Sportster Iron 883. Sorry, not the Iron. The Sportster Custom 883. It was a 2002 model, but I had a very specific price range. Coming from a Ninja, and I'm in school still, it just couldn't be done. I couldn't go anything higher. And the only Harley I could afford was kind of crappy compared to this. This is a beautiful bike. Absolutely mint condition. It had nice low miles. It was perfect. Everything I wanted. It had a whole bunch of extras. It had a whole bunch of accessories, tons of chrome covers, everything. That Sportster kind of sucked in comparison. And it was nearing the end of its life, had 1,000,000 miles on it. Now, let's get over the fact of why I didn't buy a Harley. That was why. It just didn't make sense. Now, let's pick why I chose this bike specifically. One, customize customizability. Customizability. Now that's a little word. I don't know if that's a real word or not, but that's what I'm going to use. Customizability. Now, it has 1,000,000 aftermarket parts. Honda Spirits are the custom platform of many, many, many projects. The Spirit in particular, because of its already low slung bobber style. I love it. Everything about it fits me like a glove. With its stock drag bars, nice transmission, forward controls, everything was perfect for me. Now that's why I chose the Spirit. Why Honda in general? Because they have one of the best metric cruisers. There are a ton of them, but in my opinion, Honda had the best. I've had a pretty good experience with Honda cruisers. My family's had pretty good experience with Honda cruisers, and I thought, you know what, let's stick with what I know. So I wanted a Honda Spirit. I found this beauty just when I was about to pull the trigger on a Suzuki Volusia, which I wasn't really too fond of. It was an 800 model, but it just wasn't my thing. It was a nice bike and all, but it just wasn't my thing. I chose the Spirit. Why did I choose this one in particular? Because it had every single option I would have wanted to put on it myself. And this brings to the next point. What aftermarket accessories would I recommend to anyone wanting to buy a Spirit? Or any Honda Shadow in general? One, and the biggest, is exhaust. The way Hondas come from the factory is pretty lame. They sound terrible. They just sound like rushing air. They don't make any noise except all engine. No one can hear you, and I just didn't like it. It sounded like crap. And to a person who really, really wanted a Harley, this was perfect. It came to me with a beautiful set of Cobra drag pipes. Now, if you do any research, I've got a video on a couple cold starts and riding it at various speeds. You know they sound pretty damn sweet. And that was the selling point. Before I knew about the drag pipes, from the pictures, I knew it had a whole bunch of awesome options. Like right here, this is one of the things I would also suggest switching out, is the hand grips. Now, if you look here, and if you know anything about expensive bike accessories, you'd recognize this as the top of the line Kiryakin ISO or ISO flame grips. Now, those suckers aren't cheap. They run about $100 a pair at the cheapest. And right in front of them, the guy who had this before me put on a set of Kiryakin skull levers, which run 150. These are sweet. So let me show you here. They have the coolest little little bone grip here. They're perfect finger grips. They match your grip perfectly. It has drag bars, which it came with, but I thought I should probably point those out because that's a big selling feature in these. It's a very custom bike look. It has some beautiful mirrors. Now I don't know who makes the mirrors, but I suspect because of the rest of the bike, it's Kuryokin. And that's the big name in motorcycle accessories. Now, it also had forward controls. These are huge for me. That was why I wanted a Spirit, because of these. But not only do they have forward controls, they have aftermarket Kuryokin ISO pegs too. These are the large style. It also has every cover you can ever think of. LED smoke turn signals, cat eye light, because the old one was just this massive box on the back of it. I wouldn't be able to look at that. It has the Cobra pipes, which I pointed out. It had a K&N filter, which I would have done anyway, but it helped. It was already jetted for everything. It didn't come with the windshield. That was my option. I'm not a big fan of windshields, but especially motovlogging and stuff, you kind of need one. Had a nice big radiator cover covered in flames, and this bike rips. It is loud and it is fast. Hondas usually aren't known for being overly loud or powerful or fast. Well, this one is. It's absolutely gorgeous, and I wouldn't trade it for anything, well, except my Street Bob, because one, it looks exactly like this. Just check the pictures. If you don't believe me, build one, put drag bars on it, and put a solo seat on it. You will not tell the difference. It's the same color. Whoever had this before me painted it with a Harley color code. It's the absolute perfect Harley clone. I'm not going to pretend it's a Harley. I want the Honda. It's a liquid cooled 750cc V-twin engine. The difference between the Harley engines and the Honda engines are compression. It's a smaller engine, but it has the exact same power as some of the bigger motors. Not as much power as the full-size Harleys, I will never say that, but this has more power than an 883. That's just the way it is. It may not be numbers-wise, but feel, throttle response, and all the important stuff, this beats it. And the last thing that I suggest replacing on this bike, the way it is the seat. Now, I already took the bolts out of this for review purposes. I run a West Eagle solo seat. West Eagle is not expensive, but it amazing quality. I've never had a problem with it, and it feels great. Awesome seat, fits the frame of the bike perfectly. It hugs every frame rail. It's the definition of a bobber seat. It has that just enough to ride look, and it feels good. So that's why I chose that. Now, there are a couple things I don't like about the bike, just nothing you can fix, unless you want to spend a bunch of big money, or switch bikes altogether. One, fuel tank capacity. This is a big tank, but the reserve is huge. Now, you may think that's a good thing, but you run out of gas before you hit your reserve. Reserve is where the main part of the tank is empty, and the bottom part kicks in. You have to manually switch that. Unless you keep reserve on, but I don't suggest that because then you'll never know when to start looking for gas. You'll just be out. This has a tiny gas capacity. Like it may look like it has a lot, and it really does when you look in the tank. But when it hits empty and starts sputtering, it's not that big. Second, whenever you're riding at any highway speed, by highway I mean like multi-lane, like 60 mile an hour and up. Well, sorry, 70 because I'm thinking of metric right now where it's at 100. But anywhere from there up, it's kind of loud and it revs too high. It runs nice, still has a ton of power, but it revs higher than you might want it to for fuel capacity or for fuel economy reasons. It could use a sixth gear. Now that's it. That's all I don't like about the bike. Everything else I could not change. Everything looks good, sounds good, feels good, it's comfortable, it fits me great. I don't have any issues with it. Now, thank you for watching my review of the 2003 Honda Shadow Spirit, and you have yourself a great day.